I didn't flinch, not when the table cheered, not when their glasses lifted in a shallow celebration that tasted like betrayal, not even when my brother shot me that smug, crooked smile, the same one he used as a kid when he stole my toys and dared me to cry. I just took a slow sip of wine, let the room settle, then placed my glass down like a judge placing a gavel. "Dad," I said quietly, almost bored, "should I tell them now, or will you?" The clang of his fork against porcelain cracked the room in half, and my brother's face, that confident, entitled red, twisted. "Tell us what?" Oh, I'd tell them, but not before I savored how perfectly everything had unfolded. Back then, before he showed his teeth. People like to pretend betrayal happens suddenly. In my family, it grows slow, quiet, like mold behind expensive wallpaper. My brother wasn't always the enemy. Growing up, he was loud but protective, arrogant but present. We were partners in childhood crimes, sneaking cookies, covering for each other, whispering jokes at church. And I believed, stupidly, that loyalty was blood deep. But blood means nothing when money gets involved. The shift started the day he was hired into the family business, 2 years before I discovered the truth. He shook my shoulder and said, "Relax, sis, there's enough for everyone." He lied like it was a reflex. The first crack in the mirror. It began with meetings I wasn't invited to, decisions made accidentally without me, Dad looking more tired, Mom becoming more defensive. And my brother? He grew hungrier, sharper, the kind of ambition that eats everything around it. The night everything snapped, I walked into Dad's office to drop off reports. The door was half open. The voices inside weren't whispering. They didn't need to. "She's not leadership material," my brother said. "She's emotional, soft. The company needs strength. Me." Dad didn't argue. He just exhaled like he'd already surrendered. I stood there, invisible in my own home, and realized I wasn't losing a seat at the table. It had already been pulled out from under me. But I didn't cry. I didn't storm in. I didn't beg. Instead, I walked away with a calmness that terrified even me. The shift, when I stopped being the good daughter. Revenge doesn't start with rage. It starts with clarity. I spent nights combing through contracts, financial statements, family trusts. I traced every asset, every clause, every signature. And there it was, one overlooked detail, almost invisible. The succession plan couldn't be changed without the approval of both heirs, me and M. My brother had been so focused on taking everything, he forgot I existed where it mattered. While he schemed behind closed doors, I schemed in silence. I hired my own lawyer, quiet, precise. I documented everything, every meeting I was excluded from, every decision made illegally, every financial misstep he tried to hide. And then I made my final move. A new succession amendment, drafted under Dad's name, that only needed his signature while unaware it contradicted the old one. Technically valid, legally airtight, and devastating for anyone who assumed they'd already won. Thanksgiving, the day the truth came home to feast. So when my brother stood and announced, "The company is mine," all I felt was patience. "Tell us what?" he barked again, veins rising in his neck. I leaned back, letting him stew in his own certainty. "Well," I said, "since you're so eager." I pulled a single envelope from my purse, the one I'd waited 3 months to deliver. Dad's eyes widened first. Then Mom's hand flew to her mouth. My brother snatched it, ripped it open, and read. Lines of text, legal phrasing, his confidence draining with every word. "What is this?" he whispered. "My contingency agreement," I said. "Signed by Dad, witnessed, filed." Mom gasped. Dad reached for water he suddenly needed. My brother? He looked like a man watching the ground split beneath him. I kept my voice calm. It means the company cannot be transferred to you without my explicit consent. He blinked. You can't do this. I already did. The table fell silent. And since you excluded me from every decision, I continued, you violated the existing governance rules. Which means, I tapped the final page, your actions legally disqualify you from succession. His chair scraped back violently. You set me up! No, I said, you set yourself up. I just documented it. The payoff. The moment I let him drown in his own scheme. Dad tried to speak. Mom cried quietly. My brother's entire future sat crumpled in his shaking hands. I told you, I said gently, you should have remembered I was in the room. He stared at me with something I'd never received from him before. Fear.